This is Max Scagliardi, and you're watching Talk Energy Direct. As always, if you're watching this or listening, please take a second and hit the subscribe button on YouTube, or you can follow me on your favorite podcast app. And I really appreciate it all. We're at like 110 subscribers, which is massive. That's way higher than I was about a week ago. And so I really appreciate it. I say that every time, but it's a big deal. And this is also the very first time that I'm trying anything live. I'm actually on YouTube Live right now. And so I'm going to do the YouTube Live, hopefully download this, and then put it onto the Buzzsprout, which will get it onto the podcast app. I actually need to burp really badly right now, and this is live, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Or maybe just suppress it. Oh, I think I just suppressed it. That was painful. But that's the thing about going live. You just got to roll with it. So I haven't done a Talk Energy Direct in like a month or something. But in the meantime, I've released one podcast a week for the past 4 weeks or so, 4 or 5 weeks. So I think we've got 4 episodes out, even though one of those I kind of cheated. It was a single recording, but it was like 2 hours long. So I split it into 2 episodes. I think it worked well as 2 episodes. But you know, technically I've done 4 podcasts. We've had 8, 9, 10, and 11 release. There was some good stuff in there. I'm going to get these wrong unless I look at them. Episode 8, Digital Midstream, awesome episode. Marty Bent, very exciting episode to do. Guy that's a professional podcaster and a professional content creator. So it's always exciting to get somebody on that does this for a living. It's a lot of fun to get somebody like on that. So Alex Epstein was the other one that I would say that I've had on. That's a professional content creator. I've actually recorded another one that I haven't released yet with a professional content creator that I'm excited about putting out there. So those are always fun for me because I'm new to this. And when you're doing something, getting on there with a guy or gal that's done this professionally, it just makes it really easy. And it's also a really fun conversation. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about episode 9, Let's Make a Deal. I'll call him a professional content creator. I'm actually doing him a disservice. He has his own podcast as well. And so not as many episodes out as Marty or as Alex, but Yusuf Chandri on episode 9 is another guy that's a podcaster. And so fun episode, and an episode that he was somebody that when I first saw his podcast, I knew that I wanted to talk to the guy. I tell him in the episode that you have in it. He had an incredible his intro song is incredible. And it's fun, and he seemed like a little embarrassed about it, which I don't get because I think it's a really great intro episode. And then episode 10 and 11, which was with my dad, and were really special episodes. And I'll talk about those and why they're special and kind of some of the backstory to why I wanted to do those episodes outside of just that I knew that he would say yes because he's my dad, which wasn't a given, actually. I had to kind of convince him. Surprisingly, a lot of the people that I guess it's maybe not that surprising, but some of the people that I'm close with that I thought would be just shoo-ins to do the show, maybe have just been a little bit reluctant. They're kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll do it. Let's wait for some episodes to release, and then I'll agree to do it. So, but no, I'm just joking. He early on said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And there's a reason why I wanted to do it, and there's a backstory to why I feel like it was really cool outside of the fact that he's just has this long 40-year career in energy. There were other reasons personally for me that I felt like it would be really special to have him on. So I'll talk about that. So we're going to do the recaps on those episodes. Then I've also got some other things that have been going on kind of personally for me. And that's the thing about these Talk Energy Directs is I don't know that they're that much energy related. I think they're more just kind of me wanting to connect with the audience and tell you kind of what I have going on. And so I'm not like getting on here and pontificating about the future price of oil or what's going on in the energy markets. There's a lot of really good podcasts out there where they talk about kind of all these technical and, macro things going on in the energy industry. And Talk Energy Direct is not that. That is it's just me basically telling you what I've got going on in my life and what's going on with the podcast. And just giving the people that actually care some insight into me personally. And so I don't know how valuable that is. It seems like there's people that watch it. It's weird. Like I've got this going on, and it is one of those things where it's getting like as many listens almost as my regular episodes. So I don't know what that means, but to me, it means that you're tuning in when I put it out there, which I appreciate. And it makes me feel compelled to do more of them. And it's hard to fit them in because I'm already trying to edit and do the actual podcast. And so getting this extra piece of content, it should be easy because it's just me talking and monologuing here for 20, 30 minutes, however long I can go. But in the past, it's been hard because I felt like I had to edit and I had to cut out the ums and the ahs and refine it and put in the intro music. And so if you're listening to it on the podcast, on the app, you're going to notice that there's no intro music because I'm literally just doing this on YouTube Live. And so my thought here is to try it out live, which is a little bit nerve-wracking because you can't edit it and cut it out, and it is what it is. But I just feel like if that's the barrier to entry for me on doing more of it, then I should just do it live. And then if I do it live, then maybe it just gets out there, and that's just easier for me to just putting it off and being like, yeah, I'll record one, and then never getting around to recording it. And it looks like there's actually someone in here on the stream, which is cool too. So props to you. Thanks for tuning in and looking at this. So it's not really all that energy related. It's more kind of like personal and just giving you an update on what's going on with the podcast and what I'm thinking. But I'll try to talk some energy market content at the end of this because technically it is Talk Energy, and I do it all the time. And so it's weird because it's like I'm recording podcasts every week, and I work in energy. So it's just like 24/7 energy all the time. And part of this is like, it's kind of almost refreshing to me to just talk about what I have personally going on and what's going on with the podcast. Although, given the name of the show, I feel like I should talk some energy market stuff, which I'll try to do here at the end. So loose agenda. So the episode recaps, the new YouTube channel. So I've got a new YouTube channel. This is also part of the drive to want to do something kind of beyond energy and just continue to create content. And I have put some effort and just energy into doing that channel. And so it's different. It's just me kind of with the videography stuff, which, again, I don't know if there's really an audience for that, but personally, I just felt like this desire to want to do a little bit more around the camera stuff. And I've got this equipment, and it's just fun to put things together and to say, hey, I'm going to create something that's other than just energy. And I just felt for a while that I wanted just a channel just for anything that if something came up, like, my brother and I have been talking about doing like this separate thing. We've got like this podcast idea that we may do. We've recorded a couple of episodes. We really haven't put any out yet. I think I'm going to clip some of it out if I ever have time. And then also we've talked about some other things that we want to put out, and then they don't fit into the energy narrative. And so I just felt like, okay, I can create a channel. I can do some of these more, I don't know, like artsy, I guess. It's people are making fun of me actively for the videos I posted there. So if you look at those, feel free to look at those. So have been encouraging. My friends and others have been kind of making fun of me, but that's okay. It's just, it's something that I wanted to do, and it's fun for me personally. And I record a lot of videos, so I felt like I could edit it and put it out. And it's just another channel and another avenue for me to just do something content wise. And so, so that was the genesis of it. And I think you just search my name. There's some other guy that's Italian named Max Gagliardi, obviously. And he's got I think he's a musician. I don't know. I've looked him up. I've Googled him before. And so I've seen him out there. He's got a channel. So if you search it, he's probably going to pop up, but I think I'm like the second Max Gagliardi that's out there on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can. And it's just right now, there's like 3 videos up. So admittedly, I've been using some energy and time to put stuff on that channel, which maybe I should be focusing on Talk Energy, but it's just been fun for me to do it. So it's out there. It's just another avenue. And so I wanted to give the shout out for that. The other thing is I want to tell you that we got a new Reddit, we got a new subreddit that a fan of Talk Energy actually created, which I thought was really cool. Somebody came out and they said, hey, you should start a subreddit. And they said, look, this meme that you posted like 2 months ago, that's how I found out about you. I've been like enjoying the content. I think it would be cool if you did a subreddit. And I was like, yeah, man, that's great. I was like, I'm just like really busy. Like I'm struggling to even just do the basic amount of content that I need to put out. And so they created it for me, and they made me a moderator, and it's got like 12 subs to it in like a day. I think they did it yesterday. So I was like, that's sweet. I haven't even posted on it yet. I've like upvoted a few of the things, and like I'm a long time Reddit guy. In fact, for a while, Reddit was the only social media that I had. I didn't have Twitter. I'd like gotten off of Twitter. I'd gotten off of Facebook for the better part of a decade. And all I really did was Reddit and mainly low effort memes, which, you know, I enjoy doing. I don't do enough of it. I've tweeted before that I wish I could just do memes is my full-time job. But unfortunately, I do way less memes than I want to, but maybe some more on Reddit. And so there is a Talk Energy subreddit out there. I need to start posting to it, and I feel pressure to throw some low effort memes on it. But thus far, it's just this guy, and I don't know him. I think I have a hint maybe of who he might be because tweeted about it and I got some likes, and maybe that's who it is. Who knows? But whoever, you know, if you're watching this, I'm going to shout this out. I will post this to Reddit. And I really appreciate you. And it's that kind of stuff, just like somebody reaching out and being like, hey, I discovered you through a meme that you did. And I've been watching all your episodes and I'm really enjoying it. I'm like, that's all I need. That's all I need is that one person being like, yeah, I enjoy it. And I'm listening to it. And I'm like, you know what? Like that's good enough in terms of continuing to create content. So that's a big deal. And I really appreciate that. And so cool. Well, hopefully we'll get it going, and I'll actually make some posts and maybe do some moderating. Although I've always kind of hated Reddit mods, not even secretly. Like I'm outwardly, I don't like it. So I feel conflicted being one, and I will probably be a very hands-off, libertarian style mod orator because I don't think that I don't know that we should like control the content. I think people should just be able to like troll and post whatever they want. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe if it like people are getting ridiculous, then I'll actually want to flex my moderation powers. But historically, I've not liked moderators on Reddit. I think they have a power complex. So we'll see how I handle being one on a subreddit that has like just a handful of followers. So looking here at my notes, Broken Bow, it's a consistent theme that comes up. I'm going to put it in the show notes when I post this and when I revise it on YouTube. We got the new Broken Bow house out. I'm a shameless self-promoter in the real estate side of my endeavors. And I think the next episode of Talk Energy that I'm going to put out, I need to tee it up with my guys on which one we're going to release. We've got a number of them in the hopper, but the next full episode I think is going to be the Broken Bow episode. We've got the Mockingbird guys on that one, and they're also partners on the investment side with me, and got this incredible new house called Angel's Landing. I'll plug it here again. The VRBO is live. We just put it live this last week, and I was just up there the last couple of days over the weekend, and it's an incredible place. It is still getting, we're pretty much done. Like it's listed on VRBO. We've got it, you know, the furniture and everything kind of teed up. There's a few little things here and there that we got to get finished up, but man, the place is incredible. You know, Dylan, my man, he's coming on. I figured it had to be somebody. Dylan, just want to give you a shout out. Like, the consistent commentary and liking of the videos, I really appreciate it. Like you're one of these guys I'm talking about that, dude, it's good stuff, man. This is what keeps me going. Just having somebody on, watching and paying attention. It's I really appreciate it. And all the comments, I don't always respond to all of them, but I see them and I at least try to like them, and I appreciate that you're tuning in. So, dude, thank you for being on this live stream. Cool. I'm glad that someone's watching. I don't know. It feels weird. I'm not used to doing this live. So typically I would just be recording it, then going back through and like cutting out all the parts that I didn't like. So you're just getting kind of the full meat just on here. So, but dude, I appreciate you. And back to the Broken Bow. So we've got it listed on VRBO and it's out there, and I'm going to do more promotion. I filmed a bunch of stuff. I filmed a vlog. I filmed a bunch of vlog content this weekend, did a bunch of drone footage, and I'm going to try to edit it. The hard part's editing it. It's like I can film it, but can I get it out there into the world? So I'm going to it's like a teaser or something, like a 1 to 2 minute kind of vlog content deal that I can do prior to this next episode releasing. It's a fun episode. We're, drinking a lot of Elijah Craig in that episode. So, I may have to edit that one. I don't think we said anything that was too bad, but it was definitely relaxed. It was not the normal, just kind of stuffy interview that I would typically do. It is us just kind of hanging out, doing some work on the new cabins, and then, recording a pod. So we did that one, and it is live. It's not in the studio, but I brought all the studio stuff, And my wife was kind of like, what are we doing? We have a whole car packed full of studio equipment, but we did it, and we did it up there. And I think it was a fun episode. So that one's going to come out. I think this next time, we'll see. I'm not going to overly commit, maybe the week after, but it's coming soon. And then what else do I have on the agenda? So it's exciting. And so, and if you want to check it out, I'm going to put the VRBO in the show notes, and I can get you hooked up. And I think like all the dates are open, and it's going to be an incredible place to go and to visit this summer. It sleeps like 26. So you're probably going to want to have like, 3 or 4 families or groups of people. It could be a big group of young people or just people that could fill all these beds that we have, but definitely not something you probably just want to go with you and I think like a large group. And if you have a large group that wants to go on vacation at Broken Bow, Oklahoma, then this is the spot for you. So going to go into the episode recaps. We got episode 8, 9, and then 10 and 11 is kind of just one episode. So I'll talk about those. So episode 8, digital midstream. It's just a great, I don't know if you're into Bitcoin or if you know much about Bitcoin and what's going on with Bitcoin and oil and gas, but Bitcoin is something that, I didn't know anything about, or very little about. I've known that I've got a brother-in-law that was, really telling me, hey, you should pay attention to this. This is something that, he'd been researching and looking at from an investment standpoint. And I have this, like everybody does, probably some investment decision they've made in their life that they really regret, whether that's a loss that you got or a gain that you potentially didn't get. But for me, it was back about a year ago, I had some amount in my savings account and was going to buy some Bitcoin and had it like teed up. It was just sitting there. I actually had it in my checking account. It wasn't even my savings account. And I had gone on to create Coinbase. And I think there was just some step in the Coinbase thing. I can't remember what it was. It was like putting my ID or something like really basic that just a lazy person wouldn't do, which at the time I was just like, oh yeah, I got to finish setting that up. And I'm going to buy like, I can't remember what the price was. I was like going to buy a couple Bitcoin. I was like, yeah, I'll just like take this amount that I would otherwise put in savings. I'm going to buy like a couple Bitcoin. And then I didn't do it. And then now I'm looking back at the decision that I made and being like, that was a 6-figure mistake to not do that. So I realized that kind of in the beginning of this year after seeing the big run up. And it wasn't just that, it was like the FOMO of that, but I wasn't fully educated on Bitcoin and didn't understand, all the things that I know now. Not that I'm an expert, but I've gone very deep into the rabbit hole over the last kind of 4 to 5 months. Read a couple books and consumed a bunch of content around coin. And Marty Bent has been a huge, Marty Bent, and then also GAM in general, Great American Mining, and Tom over at GAM kind of reached out through the content creation and the podcast. And he's been kind of instrumental in my connection to the mining world. And then it was the introduction that I got to Marty, and then been talking to those guys, and can't share a lot of those discussions, but just great guys. Like they're just the vision, not just around Bitcoin, like take Bitcoin out of the, I guess you can't take it totally out of the conversation, but just in general, their creativity around gas and taking flared gas and turning it into Bitcoin and everything they're doing with the mining. It's just been just a great story, and they're great guys and good people. And I love it. I love what they're doing. And it was exciting to got to go on their podcast that they just created. And then Marty got to come on my podcast, which I was very gracious and happy that they agreed to do. It's a fun episode. Of course, it's Marty, and his audio messed up, which I gave him crap on the last Talk Energy Direct that I did. So I won't give him too much crap anymore because I'm very grateful that he came on, and I won't rag on him, but hopefully I can do more stuff with those guys in the future, whether it be content or otherwise. I do have tickets to the Bitcoin conference in Miami. I'm in that far deep into the rabbit hole. So I've got tickets to the conference. I am on I'm going to the after party because my wife and her friend is going. So my wife's going, she's bringing her friend who's single. She's going, and I am signed up for the conference. I'm signed up for, I guess, the after party. And the plan is to like make a vlog about it and maybe do a podcast while I'm there. I'd love to do the podcast while I'm there. There's some logistics around that. I think it would be like a fairly low effort podcast. I'll probably just bring the camera with like my shotgun mic here and just try to do one on the fly, but definitely going to record it. Definitely going to try to vlog it and do just more Bitcoin content in general. You know, I tweeted the other day, I was like, well, how deep into the rabbit hole is Bitcoin? Like, how much do you have to do to like put Bitcoin like in your profile? Like, how can you claim to be like, I'm associated with Bitcoin? Like, I don't know what the level of involvement is, but like, I feel like I'm getting close. Like, if you're like booking tickets to Miami to go to the Bitcoin conference to create content, you're a Bitcoiner. I know that I don't have the laser eyes currently. I've had them in the past. Maybe I'm a poser. Maybe I should get the laser eyes back. Conference, going to try to create some content, going to bring the camera. My wife's going to go. The only reason she would agree to go is if I let one of her friends go, which we've done. And it should be fun. So we'll see. That's going to be a good one. And that also kind of started from the relationship and the talking to the GAM guys and to Marty and him doing the podcast. And so it's been a fun deal, and it's really got me into that world. And I want to go further into that world because it's been really fun and enjoyable. And not just that, it's been financially advantageous because I've made some Bitcoin investments as I've started to learn more about it. And obviously the price is going up, so it's a positive right now. But you got to have diamond hands and not. I'm in it for the long term. This is like I don't want to be left behind in this future Bitcoin world. So I'm making the right decisions now to get in and continue to be there. So anyways, that's it on episode 8, and episode 9 was Yusuf Chandri. So I mentioned earlier, let's make a deal. So Yusuf and I connected probably 2 or 3 months ago and talked about the podcast in general. I think that's how we initially connected. And then we just talked about it. It went from like, hey, that's cool, you're doing a podcast. Like, I'm doing a podcast. And then it went from that, like almost immediately into he just wants to talk about like deals in the oil and gas space, which I love because that's what I live and breathe every day. And so he's more, primarily E&P side. And so the conversations we've had have been, a lot around, what opportunities are out there and what connections that I have and he has, and, are there mutual interests, and he's clearly looking to get some stuff done. And so we had like a 2 or 3 conversations, and I was like, man, you should do the show. And it was a good episode. And what I liked was that there was like a solid theme to it. It wasn't just interview where I'm like asking him questions around, hey, like, tell me this about that. It was more kind of like, yes, it was an interview, but it was more around this doing deals and energy and that theme. And so I thought it turned out good. And it's a fun topic to talk about because, again, that's kind of what I live and breathe day to day, is different types of deals. And for me personally, like, I know I'm on the midstream side, but I interact with upstreams. And that's kind of the, primary counterparties that I deal with, whether it be in the consulting space or the energy marketing space, or whether that be in the midstream space. And so midstream is really just kind of an upstream bet at the end of the day. Like, you're looking at what resource you want to hitch your wagon to. And so, and then also having worked for E&Ps and continuing to work for E&Ps. So like, I'm not an expert on E&P deals, but like, that's what I do. It's like, we do a lot of diligence on the E&P side. I mean, we're constantly doing large E&P deals, diligence, and it's primarily from, again, the marketing, midstream, like understanding, like I always like to say, understanding how they make the money. I mean, that's what I've kind of carved my niche as. And we did a deal just recently. I could probably throw out the dollar figure and you could probably guess what deal it was, but we just acted as advisor on a close to $1 billion deal that just got closed a couple of weeks ago. And we're working on a few now that are probably going to be close to $1 billion for some clients. And so it's just exciting. It's exciting to be in the deal space. And I know Yusuf is a guy that's actually looking to buy new stuff. And so working with him or talking to him on the podcast was fun. And we got to, kind of riff back and forth around some of the different etiquettes and some of the things that I think kind of go unspoken, but it's fun to get them out there. So that's an episode you can check out. And it is called Let's Make a Deal. The episode 10 and 11, and I've been going kind of for a while now. I've got a couple people coming in and out, which is cool here on the stream. And I appreciate you for tuning in. But episode 10 and 11 was my dad. And so this is an episode that I wanted to do from the beginning of this. And I said that in the intro, and going back to why. I mean, so my dad, so there's the obvious 40 years in energy. He's a mentor. He's somebody that I go to as somebody that I look to in terms of advice and, helping me through my career. But So that wasn't obvious. I was like, this is going to be good content. In fact, I've got a number of different things I think that he could do on Talk Energy that would be fun. But I also wanted to do it from the perspective of, growing up, my dad always took a lot of videos and always like had the camcorder out and was somebody that basically, came to me and he had these, like, he always had this like capturing the moments when I was growing up, and he would always like get these things on video. And one thing in particular that always stood out in my mind was this video that he did of my great grandma and his grandma. And he sat down, and it was really simple, but he had a camcorder, or a big VHS camcorder, and he videoed her and he interviewed her, basically asked questions about, her growing up. And she was a first generation immigrant from Italy and came here from Southern Italy. And it was this video, and I don't even know where it's at to this day. I watched it when I was younger. I'd love to get it. And I think we've got it. I think my mom maybe on a digital at some point. And so I always thought that was a real memory, because it's like, what other, thing do we have of her where she's talking about her life that we have that's captured like that? And so part of having my dad on the podcast was, I was like, look, this is something where, I can capture a memory that when am I otherwise going to, hear about your career and have you tell stories about your time in the energy industry, and then have that, in a video form of content. And I just felt like, as much as it would be cool to do the Talk Energy of it, it was also really cool just to have that for me personally, and then for my kids one day. And so, that was a huge driving motivator as to why I wanted to have my dad special. And it was something that I was like, man, I'm so glad that he did that. And so, and a lot of people don't have it, right? Like, a lot of people don't have, you read these stories, and this is like sappy. I don't want to get too sappy, but I read this tweet the other day, and it was like, this again is like over the top sappy, but basically someone tweeted that they were like, hey, I had this old message that my dad left me, and then my dad passed away, and like all I had was that message. And like, that was really special. And I listened to that, and I was like, like it hit me in the feels like pretty hard. And I just thought about doing the podcast with my dad. And I was like, this would be something that I'm going to have, and that, that'll be out there. And so that was one driver outside of just his energy experience and the things that I thought would be cool to capture for the podcast, that I thought was like, hey, this is a reason to do this outside of all that energy stuff. Like, it's just cool to have something with your dad that you record. So that was a driver of why I did it. And then outside of that, it was just cool to hear about his career. He's always like giving me great advice around this business. And anytime I'm like freaking out about something downturn wise, whatever, like, when I first started in COVID, it was 2014. And 2014, I think it was like, oil was like $80-$85. And then it dropped to, within the span of a year, whatever, it got down to 20 something bucks, $30. And I also went from like not having kids to like my wife having a kid right during that same time period. So I was very stressed out, highly stressed. And so just moments like that, and then all the other ups and downs in the industry, whether it be the corporate drama when I back in the day when I worked at a corporation, to then the having a startup and, doing my own thing from a startup. He's just always been somebody that's been like this anchor that's given me good advice, and advice that I feel like is cool that you could share with other people. And so it's something that we do talk a little bit about, the professional development stuff. I think it's in like episode 11, like at the back half of that. And he kind of shared some of his wisdom there, which I felt like for me personally has been a big deal. And then for others that may feel lost kind of during these downturns, when you look around and you're like, what are we doing here? Like, this is just such a roller coaster of an industry. I thought some of that content could be good to put out there as well. So that's the recap on the episodes. I'm coming up on like 30 minutes now, which is a ridiculously long time for me to just be talking on my own. So I'm probably going to wind it down. I think I've covered the things that I've wanted to cover, and I appreciate anybody that's tuned in. I think Jake Corley just retweeted this. I have no idea who's tuned in right now, but Jake, I'm sure the two or three people that are on here is probably because you retweeted it. So appreciate it, man. Shout out to the Digital Wildcatters. I got to get signed up for their crawfish boil, dude. I'm super busy. It's like harder for me because it's on a weekend. It would actually be easier in some ways if it was on a weekday, because I could like call it a work thing, and I could just like chalk it up to work and head down to Houston. But I think I'm going to be there. Hopefully the tickets don't run out. Maybe they can get me in. It's like kind of a game time decision, but I'm going to try to be there. If for anybody that's listening to this has made it this far, thank you, because you've listened to a lot of this, unless you're live. And then thank you because you're here right now. But go to the Crawfish Boil for the Digital Wildcatters. It's going to be awesome, I'm sure. I've never been to one of their things. I'm always jealous because they're throwing these fun happy hours or like EFT things that are in Houston. And I'm not in Houston, so I'm always like, it'd be cool if I could just like drive over to that thing and I didn't have to like catch a flight and be there. So if you're listening to this, Jake, again, thanks for retweeting this, and hopefully I can make it to the Crawfish Boil. If not, I will pump it for you guys and promote it. But the goal is to be there. So that's the end of this Talk Energy Direct. I'm at 30 minutes, and I'm probably gonna wind it down because I've rambled here for long enough. But this experiment is about to end. I appreciate anybody that's tuned into the stream. Dylan Morton, you're the man. You're always commenting, and you commented on this, and you're always liking and sharing my stuff. So I'm going to give you a shout out again. But that's the end of Talk Energy Direct. I appreciate it, and we'll try to do these more often. Thanks, guys.